Okay, so we had looked at the data for the listings, and down here we have the top property managers in the Kampala market. And I think it's really important to go over what their products are or offerings are in the market to be able to sort of study and see um, what they have and try to, in a way, mimic their success or model their successes and avoid their failures. Because even though they're actually top property managers in the market, doesn't mean they're perfect, right? Anyway, so the first that we have here is some of them just have their hosting ID. They don't have their business name naturally. Uh, their average rating is 4.8 stars, which is good, and they have 936 reviews from 30 properties that they have in the market, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the what they're offering. All right. So I'm just going to right click and open a different tab here. Okay, so this is Angela and Rensky. I assume that's how you pronounce it. So just a little bit about themselves. So, okay. So you can read a little bit of history about the hosts. All right, so they have been in business for 12 years, as we can see over here. Well, over here. But they've had over 1,300 reviews. That's pretty significant. And the average is 4.75, which is pretty good. And we can see over here they are designated the superhost status. This is pretty good in terms of marketing in the Airbnb platform, right? So that's pretty good. 12 years is a pretty significant time, which means they were onto this a long time ago before a lot of people woke up in the Kampala market. So they had a first mover advantage into the market. So that's pretty cool. Let's dig in to their properties. Now, if you want to go just through the reviews, you can just go through the reviews here and read what different people are saying. What I like to do is actually go through their listings to see, first of all, what their offerings are like, right? What the properties look like, the furnishings, the whole nine, right? And compare what they're offering to what I intend to offer, what I'm offering, right? So we know they have a total of 30 listings or products in the market. So let's start with this one. And I'm just going to right click and open a new tab. Okay, so this right here we can see is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath property. I think this is their oldest property, if I'm not mistaken. Bazinga Corner apartment. Okay. So even though it's 2 bedrooms, they're offering 3 beds, right? To give more value to customers, more accommodation, right? Let's go through the pictures. Again, you can see here they have the Superhost designation. They've been around for 12 years. So that speaks volumes, right? So, all right, let's go through the pictures. Looks like pretty simple furnishing. Nothing crazy, but clean. Nice arrangement. You got a little office space for working over here. The little office space with the lamp, the desk, and the chair. Right, that's pretty cool. You got big windows, so you get a lot of, light coming in, right? You got neutral colors, bright neutral colors, right? Gray on the wall, right? The floors are nice and bright and clean. Nice sectional sofa. Simple tables, but okay, let's move on. Next picture, just a different angle. I don't necessarily like the bars on the windows everywhere, but I get it. It's Uganda. Depending on where your property is, if it's on the lower floor or whatever, then it is what it is. Kitchen. Okay, Let's see if we can get a closer look. That's another view of the living area. Nice. To my liking, this wall here where the TV is a little bit too busy for me, but hey, you know, TV right there. You got a fan, and I didn't see an AC, so they don't have AC. Interesting. You got a mirror here by the workstation. Okay. Another angle. Nothing flashy, just, you know. Ooh, that wallpaper, man. All right. They have an ironing board with an iron. That's great. So there's the kitchen and the dining area. It's a pretty small kitchen. Not the best kitchen product out there, in my opinion. But hey, they've been in the market for 12 years, so who am I? Right? So, but they got the basics, right? They got the washer dryer right here. I don't know if it's a washer dryer, but definitely a washer. You got the stove or cooker or range, whatever you want to call it, right there. I can't tell whether it's gas or electric, but it's maybe both, or probably most likely gas. Got the microwave right here. Got some open shelving with the pots and pans and kettle and frying pan and all that stuff. I would prefer closed cabinets, but hey. Okay, there's another view of the kitchen. Oh, there's the fridge. I was wondering where the fridge was. I hate it when the fridge has to be placed outside of the kitchen because the kitchen doesn't have enough space, but it looks like this has space. You got a decent sized fridge. Okay, let's keep going. Another view of the kitchen. There we go again. Cleaner's closet. Don't open. And it has a key thing, so it's probably locked. Interesting. So that's the other side of the kitchen where you have the dining table, you have the cabinets above the table, and there's the fridge. All right. So you can see pretty simple furnishing. The bedroom, mosquito net. I think that's a queen size bed. Now, white sheets, white pillowcases, that's important. There's a reason why hotels use white stuff, right? Now, I would have preferred white towels as well, but hey. Okay, another view. Another view of the bedroom. Got a window. Got a full-size mirror. That's important to have in the bedroom. Okay, dresser. Okay. Another mirror. Okay, they like mirrors. Okay. Got another work table here in case there's two people, because you know, and both of them need to work. They can be in separate spaces. There's a closet. There's the other bedroom. I'm not sure what size bed this is. This is the, what is it, full size, right before the queen, it looks like. Okay. Nice and neat, you know, nothing crazy. Just a comfortable place to, you know, lay down. There's the fan. There's the closet. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, so there's their extra bed. That's why they have two bedrooms, but three people. So they have two beds in this other bedroom. Okay. There's the bathroom. My preference is glass enclosements, but at least they have a shower a curtain around the shower that you can use to you know, for privacy and prevent water from splashing all over the place, right? Okay, there's your commode all the way in the corner back there. All right. There's a window above it. That's good. There's your water heater. All right. Just a regular, normal bathroom. Not the best in my opinion in terms of if you're going to compete, right, in the market today. But hey, remember they've been in the market for 12 years, so they have the reviews, they have the clientele they've built over 12 years. So there's your balcony with a view to the street. Not a great view, but an okay view, right? At least you have a view. You're not staring at another building. You can at least see the road. You can see what's going on. There we go again. There's the iron board. Okay, there's the outside of the building. Yeah, all right. You know, there's another view of the building from the outside. I wonder why some cars are parked outside. Maybe parking in there is not quite enough, which is not a good sign, but I could be wrong. Maybe these people are just visiting. All right, now this is important. They're showing that the place is close to shopping malls, which is good. Close to restaurants and cafes. Now, what would be better is to also show this in a map kind of form or diagram so that people can actually see where you're located in relative to these shops and restaurants, right? Tinda Shopping Center. Okay, so they're close to this. They say 5-minute walk. So that's okay. Close to 2 minutes to the Ndere Cultural Center. Okay. And that's it for the pictures. So that's one of their properties. So we can see that their furnishings are pretty minimal, nothing crazy. Let's go to the second property. All right, so this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath with an office, or I'm not sure what that means. But let's see. All right. So again, pretty makeshift furniture. I guess this is like a bed sofa. There's a TV. Pretty old TV it seems, but if it works, it works. All right. You know, there's another picture. There's another picture of the living room. There's the kitchen. It's a small kitchen. You got a small fridge right there and a microwave on top of the fridge. Interesting. Another picture. Okay, it's a pretty tight kitchen, and you got the the pans and frying pans in plastic basins below the cooking plate, gas cooking plate. I'm not sure if you can really call this a full stove. It's really not, right? Pretty tight kitchen. Pretty tight kitchen. There's the fan. So probably no AC because I haven't seen any in the picture. I guess this is to the backyard. And this is a water dispenser. Okay, there's the bedroom. Queen size bed. White dressings. Mosquito net. Yeah. That's a better picture in my opinion. They didn't need the other picture. And again, I would prefer white tiles, but hey. There's another picture, another view. You got a dresser with a mirror. There's your fan again. Closet. There's the bathroom. You know, decent bathroom. Not the best out there, but you know, you got at least the shower is separated by a shower curtain from the toilet area, and therefore reducing the water splashing. Right? There's the shower. Pretty simple. Sink, commode. All right, this is a room with a work desk, 2 spaces, 2 chairs for people to, you know, if they're working together. Ironing board with an iron, place to hang your clothes. Okay. They got I'm not sure what this is. Oh, this is an inverter, I think, a power inverter. So you're guaranteed power even if the power cuts off. So that's pretty good. There's the outside with some seating if you want to chill outside. So I think this is probably a single home. Okay. There's the washer outside. Yeah, I knew it was a standalone home. Okay. So I'm not sure if they're offering the entire home or just part of the home for 2 guests. Decent sized parking space. Entrance, I guess. Okay. Seems like it's close to CJ's. Oh, okay. Close to the KCM Mall. It's a 10-minute walk. So location for them is really key. And since they came into the market pretty early, it's probably easier for them to get premium locations. So you might look at their furnishings and might not be a fan of their furnishings, but if their location is pretty good, then some people are willing to overlook that, right? Yeah, so they're close to this area as well, close to the hospital, 7-minute walk. Interesting. So yeah, let's look at one more of their listings and then move on to newest listings. I think this is the newest listing. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's go ahead and open it. All right, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2 beds. So you can see they have sort of improved, well, in their furnishings, I would say. But same MO, right? Same MO. No AC. They got a fan going. This is almost like a sofa bed. Seems like they like this type of furniture. There's the TV, couple of chairs beside the TV. Um, you know, this is a better kitchen in my opinion, right? Uh, Decent cabinets. Got space to move around. I think this is the refrigerator. There's a microwave. There's a stove. Pretty clean. Yeah, you got some decent light coming in. And I like, instead of open shelving, you got closed cabinets. That's pretty good. Yeah, Um, not sure this is the best place for this, but hey. All right. So, okay, there's the fridge. There's the dining area and the living area is right there. Big windows allowing a lot of light to come in, right? And hopefully they have a good view. Pretty simple dining. There's the bed. I guess they didn't go with white sheets this time, but looks like it's working for them. Okay, decent sized closet. This is a much better property than the previous ones, right? So, okay, there's a little desk, the other bedroom, and this I think is a full, not a king or a queen, a full sized bed. There's your fan. Again, no AC. So that looks like that's their MO. There's your ironing board in the hallway. I'm not sure that's the best place to have it, but maybe the property is pretty tight. There's the bathroom again. Shower is separated. You got a shower curtain. There's your toilet, little trash can there. Okay. I prefer glass casings, but hey, shower curtains work too. And this particular building has a rooftop, so decent view. If you go to the rooftop, you can go out there and chill, work, eat, have some coffee. So that's a good selling point. Yeah, nice views. Good sized balcony. And hopefully you have good views from there so you can chill out there as well. That's pretty cool. Washer dryer, so that's good. Okay. And there's the building from the outside. Not the best looking building, but it works. And I'm assuming it's either this or this with the balcony up there. And there's parking, enough parking, generator. So backup power, right? Or parking space close to the shops, as we can see again. So we can see their theme is minimal furnishing, but their priority is location, keeping costs low because they're not going for the best properties with the air conditioning or all of that. And keep in mind they started pretty early, 12 years ago, right? What else? Their bathrooms would not necessarily be my preference, but at least it's not the really tight where the shower and toilet are like right there. Yeah, well, let's take a look at some other hosts. So actually, before we move on, I noticed these 2 listings here seem to be a little bit more upgraded in terms of their furniture based on their style. Let's take a look at this one, for example. Yeah, it seems like this one is fairly new, only has 2 reviews. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. All right, so sectional sofa, pretty nice sofa. They could have straightened it up a little bit for the picture, but hey, it is what it is. Decent living area, small dining set right there. Big windows. It looks like it has a decent view. I wish it didn't have the bars in the window, but hey, it is what it is. That's Uganda. Yeah, I like the sofa. It's a decent sized sofa. Nice looking sofa. All right. TV, fan, nothing crazy. So no AC again. Personally, I think the TV is too small, but it works. This looks like IKEA furniture, which is pretty interesting. I don't think there's an IKEA outlet in Kampala. Pretty much East Africa, let alone Kampala. But interesting shoe rack there with some slippers. There's another view of the living area. Okay, kitchen view from the kitchen. Decent sized kitchen. This is similar to the kitchen in the other property, so it's probably the same building. Fridge, microwave, stove, cabinets, basic stuff. Okay, there we go. There's decent lighting coming in through the windows in the kitchen and the living area, so it's pretty lit. Electric kettle, toaster, basic stuff. Here's another view. Another view of the water station. Dining area. Simple stuff. Bedroom and bathroom. So I think this is the master because the bathroom is in the bedroom. So, okay. And I think that's a queen size bed. Personally, I don't like beds with this whole thing on top, but hey, it works for them. Okay. I actually like this bed better. With none of that platform stuff on top of it. But this one seems like a smaller bed, probably a full size, or maybe I could be wrong. That's probably a queen size bed. All right, there's the fan again. Okay, and that's another view with the closet there. Bathroom, same MO, right? Shower curtain, separate shower, toilet right there. Pretty simple, works for them. There's the heater. Interesting mirror. This is girly stuff in my opinion. I don't know of any man that would, but hey, it works. Okay. Yeah, another view of the bathroom. Rooftop. I think it's the same building. So they either have all the units in this building or maybe at least a couple of units in this building. Because that's the same rooftop that we looked at in the other building. Right? Yeah, the rooftop view and seating. And there's a balcony with seating outside. You got a view. Not necessarily the best view, but it's a view. Hallway, there's your ironing stuff. Same laundry. So it looks like the units share the same laundry. So it's not an in-unit laundry, it's a shared laundry, probably in the building, is what it is. Yeah, there's the building. Same building. So either they have several units or they just have the whole building. Interesting. Yeah, same building. Same building. There's the view from the rooftop. There's the same parking. There's that generator again. Yeah, it's the same building, close to the mall. Okay. But that one had slightly better furnishing, in my opinion. All right. Let's move on to another host. So, it's pretty clear what their strategy is. They're not the flashy host, as you will. Their edge in the market is they're coming in, their priority is location, but then they're also getting in at a very low cost because they're not looking for the newer buildings with all the bells and whistles. They're just going for decent properties at the lowest cost possible. And then also their furnishings are not, flashy stuff. They're just going for low cost furnishing. So you can see that for them, it's getting their budget as low as possible, because they're not going for the high end clientele necessarily. It seems to me like they're going for the budget customer, right? So that's their approach. And also keep in mind that they came in 12 years ago. So the market was probably different then, and their low budget thing has been working for them for 12 years. So, that's their approach. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to operate that way. Right. And then they also have the superhost designation, as you can see right here. This right here is a big deal, right? And then they also have the 12 years, right? So, yeah, I would like to just go through a few other reviews here from different people. So this is a 5-star review. Our first trip to Uganda. This was 4 days ago. So this is recent. Okay. First trip to Uganda was made perfect by staying at Angela and Rensky's. The apartments is cozy, well equipped, located in a safe area, and great local shops right around the corner. So again, location for this person was key, right? Nice place. I'm sure I will come back. Okay, so this person seemed to like it. Loved my stay. This place had all I needed and was within walking distance to the big mall. Okay, again, location. Let's look. This is the other review. Okay, this person is from New York. Okay, I have stayed at Angela and Rensky's apartments, and I have enjoyed staying there. They are very responsive, and once again, location is close to town. Again, location mentioned twice in a short review, so you can see the theme here. Great place to stay in Kampala, near to Acacia Mall. Again, location. So yeah, you can see what the theme is. Let's see. 4 days ago, we looked at those. Show more reviews. Okay, great place to stay in Kampala, near. Okay, we looked at that one. We were very satisfied. That's pretty short. Nothing to add to the fact that it's my 5th and 6th time I stay at this apartment. This person is from Israel. He must really like the place. I think it's more about location, the aesthetics. My go-to place in Kamwokia. Interesting. This person from Boston. Okay. Okay, this guy says had a good time, but gives it a 3-star. Not sure what that's all about. Again, the other guy from Israel. Again, another review. This was in January of 2026. It says best value proposition in Kampala. So you can see again, budget customer, right? Oh, okay. This guy gave 2 reviews. What's up with that? Very simple. My home in Kampala is a frequent traveler to Kampala because of business. This is the best setting in town at this profile and budget. Again, he emphasizes budget. So you can see what they're going for is budget customers. And that's why their places look the way they look. They're not going for like the high-end customer flash. So you have to determine what you want your business to look like. That's not necessarily going to be my approach, but it's good to see, what others are doing. All right, let's move on now to the next host.